So my name is Bradley Pierrick. Good morning. I'm the founder and CEO of Twothirds Water, which is a social enterprise that makes extremely simple water filters for families in developing countries. If you could go to the next slide, please. The world's hospitalizations have a massive disease burden from waterborne disease. Half of the world's hospitalizations are caused by waterborne disease. Click. And this kills more than 1 million people every year, more than 1 million children every year. Charities spend more than $4 billion on water treatment in developing countries. Click, please. And one more, please. And my background working in this field is working with these charities. I've worked with charities in developing countries for about 6 years, stationed in places like Ethiopia and the Philippines. Click. And working in countries like Haiti as well. It looks to me like the slides are not progressing, Hallie.
Bradley,
Hallie, can you click to the next slide?
There's a little bit of a delay sometimes in the slides. You should see the My Background slide.
Yes.
Okay. Next
so
one.
It shows me a slide with the title Waterborne Disease. Can you proceed to the next one, please? Oh, you're showing my background slide? Okay, I'm just going to go through my slides and not watch what you show because it seems to be lagging behind.
Yes.
So, anyways, I was saying that I've worked with water technologies for about 6 years, stationed in countries around the world. And in this role, my job was primarily to look at the different products and technologies that are available to us, the charities that I worked for, and create a match between the technology and the needs of a community so that we could work with the community leaders over the course of several months or years to introduce a water treatment method and improve health in that community. But in this role, I got more and more frustrated that the current filters tend to be way too complicated to teach and cumbersome to use, and they tend to feel like they're made to be just quote-unquote good enough for poor people, products that feel like you'd buy them at the dollar store. And so we found it really hard to achieve good uptake, and we had to spend a lot of money on ongoing training and follow-up costs. And so it was very difficult to create a positive impact with these products. So what the charities need is a water filter that's extremely easy to teach and simple to use, and a product that is aspirational, desirable, a product that people actually can trust with their family's health and believe that it's going to work, not one of these products that's really hard to have faith in. So with a product like this, we can achieve greater uptake and thereby have greater impact for these families. So at Twothirds Water, we've created a water filter called Tapp, which is an extremely simple water filter for families in developing countries. Tapp is about the size of a pop can, and it comes attached to a hose that you can put in whatever container the family already uses. And it's really simple to use. This top portion rotates to 3 positions, so all the user needs to know is the first position is open, the second position is closed, and if anything goes wrong, you pump it up and down in that 3rd position, and that will solve the problem. And this way, we don't need to teach the end users about what backwashing means, or airlock, or how to create a siphon. It's just if anything isn't working, pump it up and down, and you're back in business. Tapp removes about 99.99% of bacteria and protozoa, and we have several patents pending on the product. And we don't have to compete on price, so we can price at a comparable pricing to what you saw on a previous slide in the range of $30 to $45 depending on volume, because we can compete purely on the product's strengths. And I can vouch that Tapp works because well, about 1.5 years ago, I think it was, I was doing market research for this project in a village in the mountains in northern Haiti, and there was a resurgence of the cholera epidemic while I was there. So I was drinking from one of our prototypes for about a week in this remote location, and I learned later that 5 people had died from cholera just in that week. And I particularly remember the last morning that I was there, I was down by the local village well, interviewing some ladies, through a translator and talking about what they need from a water filter. And a funeral procession went past, which I didn't really pay much attention to until it came right past us on the road, and I saw that the coffin was about 3 feet long. This was a little girl who had died that week. And I was holding in my hand this water filter that I'd been drinking out of all week, and I was healthy and safe. And thinking, if this little girl's family had one of these filters, I think she'd probably still be out playing soccer right now. And that kind of just really made this a lot more real for me. That it was kind of a turning point in my own personal journey with this project. So how do we get Tapp to these families? How do we get Tapp to this little girl in Haiti? On the next slide, we look at the market for water treatment in developing countries focused purely on selling to charities for now. International development and disaster relief are two very different types of work, but most charities that engage in one also do the other, so we can't really view them as separate markets. So we're marketing together to development and disaster relief charities. On the next slide, we can look at World Vision as an example. So World Vision Canada, just in one country alone, Canada where we are based, of course, is they have about a $400 million annual budget, out of which about $20 million is spent on water treatment for development projects, and $8 million on water treatment for disaster relief. So with just this one Canadian charity, we have a $28 million opportunity for a product like Tapp. But if we look at World Vision International, it's about 7 times bigger than just the Canadian operation. So this is a $200 million opportunity. And then scaling up outside of just this one charity, looking at this whole industry, the disaster relief and international development charities, is about a $4 billion market. So to actually get the filters to these end users, this next slide shows our value chain. We have 11 suppliers, 9 of whom give us standard off-the-shelf components, and 2 of whom make the custom components that let us make Tapp unique. We're doing the assembly and packaging in-house so that we can control quality, and we're doing that here in British Columbia, Canada, initially, to really make sure that if anything doesn't go as planned, we speak the same language, we're right there, and we can fix the problem, especially during our early days of getting set up. And we are selling Tapp to charities for that same price range, $30 to $45, depending on volume, which is comparable to the price of the competing filters. We have picked, we're really proud of the team that we've put together. We've picked this team based on 3 things: on values fit, on each person's passion for what we're working towards here, and on finding people with an inhuman ability to get things done. We figure everything else we can teach. I'll touch briefly on myself and my co-founder. So I mentioned that I worked as an aid worker for years, and I also studied several fields of engineering and have done a lot of personal exploration and learning about business models for developing countries. And Kevin Riley, my co-founder, is a chemical engineering PhD. He's one of these engineers who can make pretty much anything. And if something's not working, he can make it work. And before Kevin came to Twothirds Water, he was working with a water treatment company that was marketing a brackish water desalination technology that he developed on his own in his kitchen, and they were taking it to market in India. So we have a team that is really just completely focused on executing really well. We have been funded so far by about $250,000 that came from a number of startup competitions, as well as friends and family investors and several angel investors. That's what got us to where we are now, that we have the product fully developed and we're ready to enter the market. And now we're raising about $500,000 for market entry. And we're about halfway through that raise. So this money is to help us ramp up production and really pull the trigger on our marketing efforts, which of course involves pilots, travel, samples, etc. We're looking at probably raising about $1 million at some point in 2015 to basically, once we prove out our business model, then we want to scale up and increase production and increase the reach of our marketing. We are, it's our plan to sell about $800,000 of units in our first year, and so far we have about $150,000 of pre-orders that we're working toward fulfilling right now. So we're well on our way, to be able to start hitting these milestones. And it's our goal to sell more than $80 million of product in year 5, which will give a return on investment for investors coming into our current round of about 55x. But one of my favorite things about working in this field is that water treatment's sort of one of those rare cases where making money and having a positive impact are not at odds. We don't have to try to find a balance between the two, but they can be mutually beneficial. And so while we're building a really profitable business, we intend to help our charity partners to reduce waterborne disease by 40 to 70% in the areas where they work. And this is typically measured with a very standard tool called randomized control trials. In disaster relief settings, quantitative impact is much harder to measure, but we can rely on qualitative feedback from the charities that we're working with and stories from the field. And even though our ability to measure impact in these contexts is significantly reduced, these are actually the settings where clean water makes the biggest difference of all in people's lives. Because of course you can imagine this is often just the worst couple weeks or months of a family's life. And we have a chance to come in and give them something that they so desperately need that can make a huge difference for their ability to rebound from that situation. So this is what I want you to remember about Two-Thirds Water. We have created an extremely simple water filter that lets charities get safe water to more people. The market is large and poorly served, which makes it attractive for us to use a business approach to have an impact here. And we have an amazing team that gets things done. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.